Okay. And we are live. At least I think so. Welcome back to the shit show. Anybody that watches this knows why it's called that because I do not know what I'm doing. That's Drew over there. And we have a very, very special guest today. This is Toad from Learn to Toad.
Yeah, man, that's right. But very special, you mean? Yeah, extremely retarded. I'm pretty sure is what you mean.
Yeah, no, I think this is going to be fun, man. I really do.
Yeah.
So I did want to start off with a couple of things, though. Why don't you tell everybody about your channels that you're on? Because I have some questions about them.
All right. Yeah, we got a bunch of stuff. I mean, I'm formerly of the Tower Gang Comedy Podcast, which is how a lot of people know me, which is now defunct. But I am, as you said, Learn to Toad on Twitter. I do have an Instagram under that as well. But my YouTube channel, the primary one right now is Toadstool Sports because I've been doing sports betting for like 19 years at this point. So I have that channel. I do a daily sports betting show because I'm a massive degenerate and I can't get enough of it, basically. So I have that. I play ukulele remedially, and mostly I'm a singer, but I do a lot of covers and stuff and mess around with it. That's Covered in Uke is my channel for that on YouTube. Those are the primary things right now. And then I am on a new comedy podcast called Losercast as well with Leighton from Outlawed Thoughts and Tyler Yonke and Adam Nutter's supposed to be on it, but never comes. And then, I don't know, some other guys who I have no idea who they are.
Wait, I didn't know about the one with Tyler.
Yeah,
What channel?
Losercast. It's new.
What
It's
is that? YouTube?
it's on YouTube. Yeah, I don't know if we can leave it up on YouTube because we get a little bit crazy. So we might have to figure that out. But we've only been doing it for like a few weeks. It's new, very fresh.
That was actually going to be a couple of my questions. What's up with the Tower Gang thing? If there's anything you can say, like, you guys have any plans on like getting back together, doing anything like that, or is it just dead in the water forever?
I think it's dead. I mean, it seemed like there might be the possibility of resurrecting it basically without Top Lobster, essentially. Like, he gave it his blessing if we wanted to do that. He seems to not really want to be in that realm anymore, basically. He's off doing his Nephilim Death Squad. Really good show, by the way. They're,
Yes,
you
it
know,
is.
they're getting really big. Him and David, they're doing some good things. So yeah, I mean, Top and Clint had some irreconcilable differences, unfortunately, over the Bohemian Grove #3. I think that was about to happen, which still happened, but without Clint, like without Tower Gang. So it was without Clint, without Jose. But I was there. Cole was there. NDS guys were there. It was a fun time anyway. But basically, a bunch of shit went down over how the venue was handled, and the original venue they wanted to use was definitely not going to cater to them and was basically just going by what the town wanted. The Jays basically were at fault for it essentially. And yeah, I mean, it just, I don't know. I mean, that's what happened. You can see if you watch the last episode of Tower Gang. It might have been in the post show though. Gray Pill, Jules, what's up, man?
What's up, buddy?
Yeah, but if you watch the last episode, it might be behind the paywall still, but not many people do the Patreon anymore. But it might have been in the post show for that. But I thought they were kind of like doing it for comedic effect, and I was just kind of sitting there like, what is going on? And they had like a blowout over it. It wasn't like, I don't think it was really like that heated, but it was just like they totally disagreed on it, and then Top like wanted Clint to apologize. They both wouldn't budge because we're all stubborn. I actually could kind of see both sides of it. Like they both actually had correct points, and I'm just like, this is so stupid. Like this is so bad, and they just, I don't know, we couldn't get it back together, and now we're off doing our own thing basically. Top's doing NDS, Clint is doing Liberty Lockdown. His show is like getting crazy big at this point, so that's awesome. Jose is still doing his No Way Jose and all branches of that. I still show up on his show sometimes because we do a reading series on
What are
there.
you reading?
We did Hoppa, Democracy, the God That Failed. We finished that. That took years to finish because we didn't really
Wow.
do it. We didn't do it like regularly enough. And then we did Bob Murphy's Chaos Theory as a shorter one, and I think we have one episode left on Anatomy of the State.
Oh
So
shit.
yeah,
How
we're
did I not
doing
know about this stuff?
libertarian stuff. Yeah, you can go check it out. No Way Jose. I think it goes to the Patreons first, but then like I think he makes it public like a week later and
Oh,
whatever.
okay.
So he's doing that, and then Cole doesn't have a show, and Cole is being a father of two now, and whatever, and
Yeah.
designing subdivisions or something, whatever he's doing. I don't know. So everybody's off doing, and I'm being a degenerate gambler, like I said. So we're all off doing our own things, basically.
Whatever
Yeah,
it's worth. I mean, Tower Gang was a lot of fun. But
yeah,
even for me, there was some subjects that like you guys would get into, and I'm like, holy shit! Like it was even a little bit much for me. But that's what made it funny, man. It's a shame. It's a shame that it had to break up. But I guess it's just the nature of the beast. The stuff starts to happen. Irreconcilable, if I could talk, differences. You know what I mean? And shit
yeah,
just starts to happen. So it sucks. I mean, It seems like Clint's blowing up, and I know NDS is blowing up because I'm a fan of that what they do.
yep.
Um, I guess. What would you be open to trying that with like maybe different people?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a hole, a hole in my life, basically. And I don't mean I have a woman. But yeah, like I mean, Tower Gang definitely it filled the hole, man. Very gay. But yeah, that was like I needed that because like I grew up through the '90s and like all through that, like in high school, college. I mean, this is just the way that we did it, right? Like you hang out with the guys and you just shoot the shit and you just say the craziest shit you can think of, basically trying to get everybody to laugh. That's just the way that it is. And now
Yeah,
culture
yeah,
has, shifted in the wrong direction. So I wanted to not only get that back, like for myself, but like for like my co-hosts. Like I think we all wanted to do that. We all kind of wanted that thing back, even though really only Clint and I think are really of that age, but we're both old. But yeah, and then like do it for other people too, but also to kind of just start pushing culture back in that direction.
yes,
Like,
yes.
fuck this, PC woke shit. Like, you should just be able to say whatever you want, just make people laugh, whatever. I mean, that was the way. Like, even if you watch like like I was always a fan of like really edgy comedy, even though I was a right winger and like pro gun and stuff like that. But I was like a free speech guy. Like I was into edgy comedy, basically everything that you would expect out of the '90s. And now you see all these comics that were like super edgy back then that just have become total bitches at this point. So it was like we wanted to push back against that. But yeah, I'm open to doing something like
Right,
that
Emily.
again. Which we're kind of Emily, what's up? We're kind of doing that again. With Losercast, we're like trying to kind of do that. I think. I don't think we haven't really gone to like to that extreme that Tower Gang did, but we're kind of trying to do something like that.
Missed, and I think you're right for why too. I mean, how old are you?
40,
You 40?
yeah,
I mean, I'm 46, dude. So,
yeah,
like I get like whenever you're that time frame and the way people interacted it's just totally different now. It's like people are afraid to talk and say what they mean and just, everybody seems like they walk on eggshells until they get to know somebody. You can't just bust it up with people. And I
yeah,
think that's what that show, everyone that gravitated to it, it was like that nostalgia from back then where it was like you could just say whatever and it was cool because you could bring in people from everywhere because it's a stream and you know it's just I thought it was very it was unique but really good in that way and that's why it's a shame that it had to go south. I
yeah,
would like to see some form of that be reborn or whatever.
yeah.
I don't know, man. It's just one of those things where it's like it kind of sucks to see people. It had a lot more potential too. You know what I mean? Because that's the other thing. That thing would have done nothing but grow, right?
Yeah,
Um,
I think so too. Yeah, I mean, it was growing, although it seemed like it was stagnating a little bit. And I think like we kind of need to better define roles. Like this is what each of us does, like on the show or whatever. Like I don't know, but I mean, we kind of did have that in a way too. Like I knew like kind of what I was doing, like, oh, I'm gonna upload the episodes here, whatever, take care of this, like from the technical side of things, whatever. I was doing some of that stuff, some of the behind the scenes stuff, which now I do that for my show now. So yeah, I don't know, but yeah, it sucks because I enjoyed it every week. It was definitely it was something that filled a need for me for sure. Now I don't really exactly have that right now, and it's crazy because like the dudes who would like talk like that I hung out with in college and whatever. If you talk to those guys now, almost all of them, like you said, they like walk on eggshells now. And I'm like, dude, you're the guy who like back in college was like, like calling everybody like a dirty spick and whatever. Like I'm like what is going on? Like now you're just a total bitch. Like you're gonna pretend like we didn't do that back then? Like I don't know. Like we called everybody fags and whatever. Like that was just the thing. It was busting balls, whatever.
Yeah.
One guy on my
I had
floor,
this.
freshman year, like I don't know.
Dude, I had the same circumstance happen. There was a dude I grew up with, and like we, you don't know much of my history, but
No.
I was really crazy when I was younger, man. Like really, really bad. All kinds of. I grew up in the streets in the city, so like you can just imagine everything we got into. But I seen one of the dudes that I used to run with just randomly on a job site because I'm an electrician and I was running this job. Late, it was like probably 7 o'clock. I was in a meeting and I come out and he just happened to be driving down a random neighborhood that neither one of us is from. And so we start talking and I could tell that he was like on edge about because I'm just being me. And he's like, I don't say that word anymore. That ain't right. I'm like, what? You know what I mean? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know what are you talking about, dude? So yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think
Yeah.
that that's why it drew a lot of people in. They were nostalgic for that from old school days. Um,
Yeah.
uh, Say the show again that you're doing because I got to try and look it up. With loser cast.
Loser cast. Yeah. So it's kind of like we have a rotating panel. We're kind of shooting the shit, but we have a little bit of structure around it because basically every episode, each one of us nominates a loser of the week, and then it goes to a poll. So people vote, like the listeners, whatever, vote on who they think should be deemed the biggest loser of the week. So like this past week, actually 2 episodes happened. I was only on one of them. Blame Adam Nutter for that because 10 o'clock on Tuesday is too late. He can't do it after Legion of Skanks, even though I'm older than he is. And so is Tyler. Adam's a pussy. Adam Nutter. But yeah, like I don't know. I nominated Rob Reiner this week as the biggest loser. So there
Yeah.
were some other good nominees there as well. But we do that, and then we kind of shoot the shit, and like that, we let that guide us, and we riff off of the loser selections and bust each other's balls. Like in some cases we'll be like, oh come on, like that guy's not a loser or whatever. Or like, yeah, that guy is a huge loser, and we'll make our case. We'll try to defeat everybody else's case and whatever, or agree, whatever. And so I try to come up with a loser that will like spark discussion.
Yeah.
Basically, is kind of my goal.
Let's see if I can look it up right now. Loser. Is that the name of the channel?
I think it's either on YouTube. It's either at Losercast or at the Losercast. I forget.
Okay.
I have to put it in my link tree. Still, I've been meaning to do that.
Oh, either way, I'm gonna try and find it and sub. Oh, I see it. I
Hell
got
yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's got like a
Okay.
big like gold L
Yep.
trophy as
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, there you go.
I got it. Hang on.
Yep, yeah, that looks like it. Yeah, that's it.
It won't fucking focus.
No,
But
but
yeah.
I could tell that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Yeah. Well, I'll be in the chats on them ones.
Hell yeah.
All right. So there was a couple of things I wanted to ask because you are a. I'm not gonna call you degenerate. I'm gonna say professional gambler. How's that? Is
All
that
right.
better?
Still
Okay.
semi-professional, basically, and I don't have the liquid funds to support it right now. But I'm giving out my plays, and it really sucks because I've been on fire for like 3 months.
But you're not actually betting them. You're just
I
giving out the
was
advice.
I was until I got fired, and I wasn't in a financial position to continue to support it.
Do we want to talk about that?
Yeah, if you want.
Well, let's do this because we could probably get in. Let's wait and we'll dump YouTube in a minute. Okay, and then
All right.
we'll get into what happened when you got fired. Because my hope is that we can get you at least a few more followers for being kind enough to come on the show. So if we
Well,
talk
thank you.
about some of your channels, then you know. But I watch your show. You know what's funny is you always in the mornings with the Toadstool Sports catch
Yep.
me at just the right time
Oh,
because
hell
I'm
yeah.
always out working and I'll just be listening and then I'll get a notification and I'll click it on and say good morning and I'll
Nice.
listen to most of the show. And I don't really gamble at all. I used to a lot, but like I don't really gamble that much. I might gamble once a year, but I can see uh the thought that you put into it. Um
Yeah, thank you.
I just my buddy used to be a bookie and I wish he was still a bookie because then I could bet like the way you're kind of describing it. It's more for me, it's more like DraftKings, right? So
Yeah, well, I mean, you have the legal avenues, but of course, because I said I've been doing it for almost 2 decades, obviously there were other ways that I was doing that,
yeah, yeah. Well,
because
especially
yeah,
in Boston, I can imagine.
well, yeah, I mean, it's there are let's say there are other sites that are legitimate sites, but they are not technically allowed in the United States. Those
Oh,
exist, but right, but now the I mean since 2022, like whatever happened at the federal level, like knocked like there was a law banning it federally that got knocked down, sent it back to the states in like 2022. So that's why we've seen it like open up widely, and I think we have about 32 states now where it's legal in some way or another. But every state is different, so you also have to find like I just happen to be in Massachusetts where we have like 7 legal online sports books here, and we have a couple of casinos in the state now as well, and whatever. But there are other states where it's better. There are other states where it's worse, and there are other states that just don't even allow it at all. Like there are
like you
some
couldn't do
states that have
DraftKings at all?
depending on the state, yeah. Like
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
yeah, so like there are certain states where it's just not legal at all. There are other states where DraftKings doesn't exist, like doesn't have a presence in that state. Like I believe Florida would be one of those, unless they've opened it up further. But Florida was kind of stringent on it, and they were limited to just Hard Rock. So that might still be the case. Like there are certain states where there's a monopoly, like New Hampshire. The libertarian paradise of New Hampshire only has DraftKings. They have a monopoly on it there. But yeah, Massachusetts has like 7. There are certain states that have more than that. I think Colorado, Iowa, Arizona, I want to say. There are a few others that have like a ton. I want to say like maybe Illinois, Pennsylvania. Those are the ones that probably have the most available.
I'm in PA, so like I wasn't even
Yeah.
aware that there was so many restrictions.
Well, in Pennsylvania, you have a like pretty open online betting market in Pennsylvania. Like I would say, my guess would be you probably have about 8 online sports books there. But I
Listen,
haven't really been watching it that closely. But yeah,
speaking of gambling, I'm going to share this quick story with you. So, do you remember the original Nintendos, the very first ones?
I don't know about the very first ones, but the first one that I remember is like the Super NES.
Oh, I told you I'm a little bit older.
Yeah,
Now,
I remember that, and I remember like the OG like Game Boy. I remember those.
there was the one you had to blow in the cassette to get it to work most of the time. Drew, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh yeah,
So like the
Yeah,
original
the cartridge
Nintendo, yeah.
engine.
the very first original
Right.
Nintendo.
I
Yeah.
just watched a 8-Bit Christmas, by the way, which definitely it centers around the original Nintendo, and like the story takes place like in the late '80s. So hilarious that I literally just watched that movie.
I dig some of them old games still. I have no time to play video games, but if I did, it would be some of them old games. But
Yeah.
anyway, this relates to gambling. I thought you might find it a little bit amusing. So, I told you I grew up rough in the city, right? Like we had no money, right? And
Mm.
back then, gambling was illegal everywhere, and the mob used to run machines in the bars. You familiar with how that used to work back in the day? You'd go in, and there'd be
Yeah.
all the right, the cherry masters,
The joke,
Oh
shit
yeah,
like.
joker poker.
dude. Yeah, I'm Italian. My
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, my grandfather on that side may or may not have had certain ties into that world, even though he actually wasn't Italian. His wife, my grandmother, was Italian, but yeah, he kind of got adopted into the Italian into the Italian ways, let's say.
In Pittsburgh, where I grew up, it was very much Italian and Irish, and
Same here in
for
Boston. Yeah.
whatever it was worth, it was sort of like brothers in a way, where like you'd constantly fight with each other, but nobody else was allowed to, right?
Oh, I don't know. I
But
mean, in Boston, everybody was kind of killing each other. It was like I think Italians and Irish like legit hated each other.
well, there was neighborhoods for sure, like
Yeah,
but
warring
for
across Boston.
you had to fight to be able to cross the lines into the other neighborhoods, and once they knew you could fight, you were okay.
All right.
But anyway, so real quick, they had those video games back in the day, and that was a really long time ago. I was probably 12, maybe 13 or something whenever it first came out. And I remember all the kids in the neighborhood were getting them, that the ones that had parents that weren't scumbags, right? So like uh the reason why I'm telling this story is because my dad would spend day and night in the bars, right? Doing his own thing that they did for money. And so I kind of grew up in a bar. Now those Cherry Masters are there, right? The first time I ever got involved with gambling, somebody gave me $1 and I stuck it in a poker machine and just hit buttons. I didn't even know what I was doing, and hit for like $2,000. And they were all like shocked, like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
what just happened? And dude, I'm telling you, it was weird because I think the machine broke, but they paid out anyway because I went and got somebody and came back and it was still racking up credits. Like
Oh,
so so my that's how I got the Nintendo, bro. Like they were my
gambling money. Hell
parents.
yeah.
Yeah, my parents took all the money and was like, "What do you want?" Like, so I bought a Nintendo. That was how I got a Nintendo from the rip. It was like a gambling win at like 12 years old in a bar. So
That's better than trying to gamble it further, thinking you're going to win again, because those video poker machines are rigged against you. So
I know. I
yeah,
know. I know a dude that ran them, and I know there was a way you can get around it too, because all of the old guys would bet the minimum bet with their whole paycheck. They'd go in there on like a Thursday or Friday and they'd bet the minimum until their whole paycheck was gone. If you come
yeah.
in and drop a 20 in and bet the max a couple of times, you're taking all the money they just put into it. They used to get so mad at me because I would do that. I'd wander in at 8 o'clock at night after they just dumped their whole checks in the machines. They're like you said, the degenerates. They're just there
Yeah.
drunk and pushing buttons, right? And then all of a sudden, boom, like here comes them credits racking. And you want to really see a bunch of boomers get pissed off, hit the poker machine that they just put their paychecks in.
Oh yeah.
I'm telling you, they would lose their minds. And then I'd buy the whole bar a drink with their money.
Yeah, right. At least they're getting something back. Yeah, buy them a round or two.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, we were on the gambling subject, so I thought I would share that with you.
Yeah, my first wins were actually poker as well. Like I was playing online poker during like the boom and when I was in college in like '06, '07, and then like right as I was doing that, and I'd been doing it for like a couple of years or whatever, then the federal government actually outlawed it. You still can't do it. You can't play online poker legally in the U.S. for money. It's still banned. It's been banned since like 2008. And not a lot of people know that. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's legal to do it in person at casinos. You can't do it online. It's insane. And there seems to be no push to get it back. It's crazy. So, yeah, like the professional poker players and whatever, they all do it in person. It's the only way to do it. So that's why I switched over to sports betting, because there were actually ways to do it that were, there were ways around it where there were not ways to do that with poker.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, plus,
Yeah.
cards is a skill, but it's also there's a luck involved there too.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
I'm sure it's the same way with I would assume sports gambling, but I mean, you have to know what you're doing, or you're just trying to get lucky.
Right. Yeah. So there is a skill aspect to it, which is why people can actually do it and actually profit long term doing it. Like you really have to know what you're doing. With poker, it's more that you have to beat like the other players that you're up against. So poker, I would say, is probably like 65% skill. Sports betting, I mean, is probably around the same, but with poker, you're not actually trying to beat the house. So I think it might actually maybe be easier to profit at poker because you're just trying to beat your competitors. You know what I mean? And the casino will take like a rake, but as long as you're better than the majority of the people you're playing against and you're that good at it, you can win long-term at poker. With sports betting, you actually have to beat the house, which is a bit more difficult. But with sports betting, as you've seen with my show, there is skill involved and there are ways that you can beat it because it's so hard to quantify like how do you quantify like a football game? You know what I mean? Like, oh, this team is favored by 7 points. So I'm trying to find like that's why I hammer out like the human aspect of it so much. And that's just the way that I learned to do it. Like when I started listening to like guys that did this professionally, that was the thing that like clicked for me. Like, oh yeah, this makes sense. Like this behavioral element to it. Like these are all humans. Like these guys are not a math equation. You know what I mean? Like the numbers will tell you things, but like you can't boil everything just down to a number. Like you're trying to find that edge that can't really be accounted for. And you really, I think you get that through like the emotional element, the human element that's going on here. Although a lot of guys will tell you that the sport is rigged and whatever. Maybe
It's
it
just going to
is,
say that.
but
Yeah.
maybe I just happen to wind up on the side that it's rigged for more often than I don't because I'm usually I think on the side that the books kind of want to win more often than I'm not. Like just because that's kind of the nature of it, like fading like the side that the public thinks is the better side usually is the better approach. Not always, but more often than not, you do want to do that because like you're gonna get a better number that way, pretty much. Because the
So you
books are
take
trying to
like
like even the money both ways so that they can make money.
yeah, so you take more of like an autistic approach to it, and
Yeah,
you're looking at the numbers and the people. So I have to ask you because I have this question written down. You you do or you don't think that there's rigging involved? Because I think
yeah, I
something just
do.
happened. You do?
Yeah, I do, but I don't like just the way that I've done this. Like since I learned how to do it and it started working for me, I haven't really changed. You have to like you have to adapt because the market does like change what it does. Like the books have like they've figured things out. Like the zigzag spot in the NBA playoffs and whatever used to be like a massive moneymaker where basically you just take if there was like an extreme outlier in one game of a series, you would just fade that result in the next game. You could still do it, but you have to like be more selective with how you do it. So that's kind of an example where the books have like adjusted to that. They've also adjusted to like I think I have Monday Night Football on here. They've adjusted to that too, where it used to be like you could almost blindly take like these home underdogs on Monday Night Football and win long term, but you can't really do that anymore because the books have adjusted to that as well. So there's like I don't know, there's a lot going on in that respect, but it's kind of weird because like yes, I am autistic, which normally means that you can't read people, but like I played poker and I like did that by picking up on like betting patterns like oh this person must have this right now because this is the way that they're betting and I've seen them do that before. The way that I do it with sports, it is still pattern recognition even though it is like human behavior like oh this team is coming off this huge game where they put in this huge effort so I think they're going to be flat in the next game basically. So it's weird that it's like autistic but you're like recognizing human behavior at the same time, which usually autists are known for not being able to read humans. And then it's
You get
kind of
it.
more hilarious because then you like I started getting into like libertarianism in like 2016 and I'd already been like sports betting for like several years at that point. And then I was thinking, oh my God, like Austrian economics is basically what I do with sports betting. Like you're basically like looking at like human behavior, basically like the behavioral elements and how that plays like in the market. So it's kind of insane that all of that just kind of like lines up and it's just I don't know, it just makes sense to me in my mind. I don't know.
Quick, if anybody has questions for Toad, throw them in the chat, and I'll if I get an opportunity, I'll throw it at him. But I'll tell you, I get like the pattern recognition thing,
Hmm.
because I call it a curse because I know I have it. Uh, I start seeing
Yeah.
things. You're more focused, I guess, towards the sports, but I'm watching like the political aspect and the socioeconomic aspect of the pattern recognition.
Hmm.
And my channel is just basically I'm saying, get ready because something's coming, right? Like like because it doesn't seem like we're running very smoothly as like either a country or anything in general for that matter. So I
Yeah.
I did want to ask you, like, I know you're outside of that, but like, do you pick up on any of that shit? Does it seem like everything's going to be fine in the future to you, or like, can you see that as well? Does it seem like something's going to happen?
Yeah, it always to me seems like something is going to happen. It's like I don't know. I feel like I'm just constantly waiting for like what
Yeah.
is the next like huge bad thing that's going to happen. Like we had 9/11 and we have remnants of that that are horrible that never went away. We had the COVID shit and that was kind of the same thing again and now we're building up to something. It's going to be the next thing and I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
kind of worried about it. It seems like it might be some domestic crackdown on anti-Semitism or something like that. I don't know.
Yes.
I'm really worried about it. Yeah, like I am.
Yeah.
I'm still in that political realm as well. I mean, I still tweet about it all this. You can't really get away from it because, like you said, once you're, it's the red pill. Like basically, once you've taken it, you can't see anything any other way. So you're constantly seeing that, like, oh, these people, they're all liars, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I say all the time, bro. Like, I'm like, I I can't believe anything that these people say because of
Yeah.
how much I don't know what truth they've ever even told, if that's possible. Like, it's a constant lie, and like people, the
Yeah.
hardest part. So here, I'll just tell you quickly. Like, I work for a power company, and I'm an electrician, and so I've been at powerhouses where they actually generate the power. Work for the power distribution, high voltage, high tension stuff coming from the poles to the houses, even repairs like for the stuff on the houses. And what I'm always trying to preach, and if you've never heard this before, it's why I say it so much, because it's a liability for me the more people that are underprepared, because when you are
Hmm.
prepared, people are looking at you for stuff. The point being is that the grid is so fragile, people cannot wrap their head around it. It's like
Mm.
it's over 100 years old in most spots, and older than that in a lot others. So
Oh
like
yeah.
you have no idea the amount of maintenance that goes into keeping this thing going. And on top of that, we're so dependent on just electricity that you can't fathom what it would be like if it was turned off abruptly. And so, like,
Yeah.
I'm always saying to have some sort of backup plan for that, long term or short term, because you really don't understand what happens next. Because I've seen it. I've seen outages. I've seen people like, they will eat each other, bro. Like real quick. Like it's amazing how fast it happens.
Yeah.
Um, I have to always interject that whenever I'm talking, because you just never know who's listening, and I'm always trying to put this out there. It's a little bit of that I want people to be okay, and I also know that the more people that have some kind of backup plan, the less likely they are to go out and take things from other people. It's the
Right.
whole dude. I told you I grew up in Pittsburgh, bro.
Yep.
I grew up in Pittsburgh. I didn't grow up in the woods. I was never a farmer. I moved out. I moved away from the city. I bought a house. I bought some land, and I did it all without debt, because I know that debt is going to be the thing that makes you do stuff that you don't want to do. Right? Like
Yeah.
why did everyone take those shots? Because they told them they couldn't go to work if they didn't.
Right.
So, you take the shot, and so now you're doing stuff because you have debt, because you don't want to lose what you have. So you're going to do things that you don't want to do.
Hmm.
I'm very I'm very curious, because I know you may not be exactly right there, but I always like to ask this, and then we'll get back to your stuff. But like, can you see that? Am I the one being crazy, or can you see what I'm talking about?
No, I definitely see it. Like, because I went through the whole, libertarian thing. Like, I mean, I was right wing. I thought I was like a Republican for a long time, but I just kind of didn't pay attention to politics. Then, being, of course, going to college in Massachusetts, even though it was a tech school, of course, you still are dealing with, college liberals basically. And they convinced me that, the post war 9/11 shit was
Yeah.
bad, and then I got that wrong. Okay, so where am I? Well, and then I was just kind of thinking, well, I'm probably a libertarian, and I just didn't really think about it anymore until 2016. Oh, this is this is a long-winded answer. I'm going to try to
No,
make it
it's cool.
short,
Go,
but
go, go.
yeah, so 2016, basically I just started paying more attention to it, basically because I was like, how does this Trump guy keep like beating the competition here? Where basically I was like, Trump's a Democrat in my mind, but he's running as a Republican. He's beating everybody, even though everybody's saying that this guy is, a loser and can't possibly win. I'm like, what is going on? So I had to figure out like what the hell is going on. I started looking at like the libertarian candidates. I became like a John McAfee guy.
Like, we got to talk about that. We have to talk about that, because I love that you ran and you were there. Well, go ahead, keep going, because
Oh,
we're going to
running,
touch on
yeah,
that.
yeah. I mean
Yeah.
that came like years later, but yeah, in 2016, I was like, well, I'm gonna read like Ron Paul's Revolution, because I missed all of his like runs and stuff. So I read that, and I was like, I agree with everything he's saying here. So this is like probably like, yeah, I must be a libertarian. Then I got into some of the libertarian podcasts. It was actually Lines of Liberty and Jason Stapleton for a little while. And then I got into Dave Smith, and Tom Woods a little while after that as well. And Dave Smith, from then on, listening to Dave mostly got me through, like, then I read, like, Anatomy of the State, and then it was the stereotypical, oh, I'm an ANCAP now after 6 months. But then I became that gay, sort of autist ANCAP where everything is, like, so many people are doing this, like, just living in their heads, basically, and they don't understand that you can't just apply that to real life. And this is where I'm going with what you just said. Like, these people that, like, this is where, like, I was for a while, and then I sort of went to, the, if you want to call it post-libertarian, whatever the hell it is, whatever I am, a right-wing realist, I don't know, whatever you want to call me. But basically, like, these people that are, like, living in, Ancapistan in their heads, basically, they don't realize that we're not going to live in that world. So you have to figure out, like, well, how can you get improvements, like, in the world as it is right now? And they don't live in that reality. But part of that is, this is like the main difference between, like, me, and I was one of these people at one point, and these ideologue libertarians, is that they get mad at me because I would say that I would not actually just press the button, you know what I mean? The button that would make government just disappear right now. Oh, that makes me not an ANCAP right now. But think about what would happen. It would be exactly like you just said, because so many people are so dependent on all the shit that they're getting from government right now. Yeah,
Yep.
like, I don't want welfare either, but if you just do that and everything just goes away like that, your people are going to be eating each other in the streets. You know what I mean? Like,
Faster than you know.
Yeah, like
Faster than you know.
Right. So you
Less than
can't just
24
do
hours.
that. Yeah, like there needs to be there needs to be some way to roll it back in a bit. Like, you can't, like, we're in this bad situation. Like, what can I tell you? Like, you can't just press the button and have it go away, and you're not going to be in your ideal libertarian world when that happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. And I mean, that's why I keep trying to preach, self-sufficiency on some level will help so much, because you won't be the one out there. I can't, I don't want to go off on any tangents, because the show isn't supposed to be entirely about this, but I always have to bring it up because it's what the channel's about. But, like, if you're not able to produce something for yourself on some level without the system being involved, you are beholden to it. You're an indentured servant.
So me, basically.
Well, no, I mean, because here's the thing. We're all there on some level, brother. Like, we all are. And it's like, you can get away from it, but it takes steps. The only way you get right out is if you have enough resources to be able to do that, because there is a way to separate it. Like, there is a way to get away. Caesar's always gonna want his Caesars. So you have to be able to do that, or else they're gonna come knocking, right? But there is also a way to step away from everything else and keep that over there. Like, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of, it can cost money, depending on how fast you can actually apply it. And it takes a lot of knowledge. And for whatever it's worth, that's what the cool part for me is. It's learning. You get to learn more and more and more every day about stuff that you may know nothing about. And one of the cool parts is that when you keep animals, it will show you, like, so abruptly, if you're smart enough to see it, how they control us from the system. Like, it's amazing, the parallels. Like, we're basically treated like free range animals that go and produce for them, and then go home and go back out and produce for them, and they don't have to do anything but wave green dollars or numbers on a computer screen to get you to go do it, because you have no way of separating yourself from it. You need their dollars, you need their digits on the computer, or you can't eat. So
Right. Yeah, I know, because I've been doing that. I mean, that was, I worked in the corporate sphere and who knows if I'm going to start doing it again or what I'm going to do. But I did that for 18 years or whatever. So I know. And it was, I don't know. I felt like I was having my soul removed pretty much, and that I just didn't have it anymore, because it's like every day, oh, fuck, I got to wake up. I'm going to commute. The commute is awful. I got to go into the city. and deal with all the shit that goes on in the city, all these homeless people, and got to avoid all this disaster here just to get to my work, my high paying job. I mean, it's crazy that that goes on in a city, like the I don't know, like the disparity, as what do we want to call it? The juxtaposition of like I got to step over all these like homeless people to get to my 6-figure job in this like high rise. You know what I mean? It's insane. And like people just do this every day and they just pretend to not notice that this is happening. What are you doing here? Like I come out of this job, I had to dress like this just so people wouldn't like mug me basically. I had to look like I don't have a good job, you know what I mean? Just so I can ride the subway and walk through the city and not have that happen. Oh yeah, I go to my job in like one of the biggest buildings in the city, making a ton of money, and then I'm on the subway and there's this homeless guy like pissing on my foot. You know what I mean? Like it's insane. Like that literally happened. I'm like, it's insane, man. It's so crazy.
Sure, Drew can relate because he's in New York, and I'm sure that he can relate. I'm sure he's seen all the same stuff that we've seen when it comes to especially homeless. This is the problem, really, is that the I tend to see the less fortunate as people that a lot of them are mentally handicapped. But then there's a lot of other ones that they don't want to participate. Like, because I've handed out food to the homeless and they could care less. Like
Right.
they don't really care about the food. But there's a group inside of them homeless people that just they don't want to be part of the system. They don't want to do the 9 to 5 grind, and they would rather live the way that they're living
They're
than be a part of
ANCAPs,
it.
man.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I guess that's essentially where they would end up.
Oh man.
That's
Um,
crazy.
Drew, you have anything you want to add?
Well, as Toad was saying that about going into the city, I was having some moments of nostalgia because, yeah, I've been in pretty much every area of New York City, and I do see a correlation between the areas where, okay, you're in Midtown or you're in the financial district in the city, and there's all these high rises and these $1 trillion buildings, and all these people in fancy suits and Rolexes, and everybody's coming in out that has money, and there's so much poverty a stone's throw in any direction you turn.
Mm.
And it's like, okay, this is the most wealthiest city in the world, supposedly,
Yeah.
and this is what we're dealing with, and the powers that be within the city don't do anything about it or say there's nothing they can do about it, and we just have to kind of, like you said, Stack. There's the mentally handicapped aspect of it, where there are people who really can't function, but then there's the ones who just don't want to participate. You could offer to give them shelter. You could offer to, I could get you a job, and
Yeah.
they have no interest. And I've seen it, since I was a young teenager, and it's just something that I don't think has ever changed, and I don't think will ever change unless something really drastic happens.
No, I
And
mean the people in power want that to be the case because
Yes.
they want
yeah,
everybody to have all these problems in their daily life so they can't focus on like the root of the problem essentially, and they want all these people to be dependent on them as well. So it serves like all these different purposes for the people in power. So they want that to happen. Like fucking Boston, we have a literal Chinese communist mayor who is not even elected. Like originally she got elected, and she's the first mayor in, as far as I've seen in like my lifetime, that wasn't a Bostonian. Like she's literally Chinese, and all the mayors before her were from Boston and from Massachusetts. So at least they had that thing where it was like, oh, this guy is one of us, whatever. And some of them weren't that bad, but now this woman is she is obviously not one of us in any way, and she's intentionally exacerbating the problem to such a degree that she has a program where she is handing out crack and heroin to drug addicts on the streets. I'm not kidding.
He's handing out the drugs.
Yeah, that's what's going on in Boston. The mayor has a program where that's happening.
Drew, are
It's
you reading that?
insane.
yeah.
Oh yeah, Drew definitely sounds like he's from New York. Yeah,
Yeah,
Um,
I've been trying to kick the habit. One year I took a road trip. I must have been 20 years old. This is right after 9/11. I took a road trip from Brooklyn down to South Carolina, south of the border, and
mm,
I had to stop in like Virginia and North Carolina for gas and asking for directions. And the look I got and the comments were like, "Oh yeah, you're a Yankee, ain't you?" Like
yeah.
even before
you
like
look
looking at my license plate, anything. That was the attitude I would get, and I'm working on changing it. a little bit.
Oh yeah, it's like being in a foreign country. Like I've been to like a couple of different countries in Europe and whatever, and they immediately know you're American when you
Yeah,
go over there. Like even if
it's
I'm
Yeah.
not wearing like any, like American sports teams merchandise or anything, they still know. Like, oh, this guy's American. I'm like, yeah. Like, how do you know, man? I have European genes. Like, I'm American though.
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah,
To
yeah.
get out of there then? Or are you actively thinking about leaving and trying to set up shop somewhere else, or what's your plan for that?
Maybe. I mean, part of it would be because like I could sell the house that I currently live in for way more than I bought it for, and
Right.
I could get a place somewhere else that's like significantly bigger than this for significantly less money.
Yeah.
Because I'm fairly close to the city, so the prices are pretty extreme here.
And there'll definitely be some liberal who would buy up your house and want to be in that environment. I have a question for you. You
Oh
said
yeah,
that
yeah.
the mayor that you have now, you said she was elected, but she wasn't elected because I
She initially she won an election initially, and I don't even know who she was running against at that point. But she just got she just participated in another election, but she ran unopposed.
all right, because I'm thinking
Yeah.
here, and
How does that happen?
it's kind of the same in New York. It was kind of similar with the governor we're dealing with, but it's like if the people in your area, like the people in my area, voted for this insanity,
Mm.
then the Bostonites or the New Yorkers or the people who were from there 5, 10, 15 years ago, who felt like, okay, this person we have there is like they're one of us. That's no longer a thing because you as a native, me as a native, where I'm from, we're
Yeah.
there. We are the endangered species at this point. We've been kind of pushed out by people who weren't born or raised the way we were in those environments, and that's how this kind of happens.
Well, that
Yep.
and the like natives are like voting for more of it to happen. Like they're causing more of it to happen. You know what I mean? It's the rich coastal, liberals or whatever. Like they're actually the people that put this woman in power as the mayor. It's all these yeah, a lot of it is, like white progressive liberals. Oh, let's vote this woman in. And they actually like they make excuses like they actually think this woman is good and she's rapidly destroying the city, like way worse than the previous mayors did.
It's not true
Yeah,
communism yet. That's why it's a problem, right? So
Yeah.
look, you guys are sort of. It's very similar. Like how I. This is what I'll tell you from personal experience. I've said this. I'm just going to repeat myself. In Pittsburgh, where I grew up, these houses, most of them, like the one that my parents had before they lost it, it's like a $50,000 house, right? At best, back in the day. I went and put the service on it many years later for a friend of mine, the electrical service, and I found out that they bought the house for it was almost 300,000, and then just totally gutted it and started over.
Whoa.
So, like, I'll just say that in the other, it's crazy because that's not even touching what you guys could probably do in the areas that you're in if you were given the opportunity. I know a dude
Yeah.
that it's like, dude, I'm sure if you're from the city, you know these areas. They're like alleyway brick row houses that are, like they're just all side by side all the way down, right? Really old construction from like when the mills were there back in the day.
Oh
These
yeah.
houses, on their best day, they're $30,000, right? On their best day.
Mm.
There were people getting offers for $250,000 for these houses, and they weren't taking it because they thought they could get more. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, you're broke. Take this and
Yeah.
run because what you can do, like that bubble, that amount of money stays within the city area because I moved outside of the city and I'm telling you you can do extremely well, especially if you have friends that are in the construction or if you know anything about fixing anything. You can go and buy a nice house that has good bones and partially got it or totally got it and still be way under 80 grand. You could be under 50 grand in some situations. But the problem is most people have the idea in their head that they want the white picket fence in the cul-de-sac. And those are the houses, the brand new houses that really ain't even, the construction is not good in new houses. I'm just going to tell you that now.
Yeah.
It's all illegal labor and they don't really know what they're doing and it's kind of just slapped together. Older houses with good bones and remodel them is, in my opinion, from everything I have seen, that's the best way to go. But you can essentially take that money and live like a king somewhere else. Like you can take a $500,000 for your house that, most of these fucking places don't even have a backyard or anything that looks like a backyard, and you could buy a house on acreage.
Yeah.
And it's a shoe in for me. I don't even know why it's a question, and it's like the constant like I think I could get more later, and I try to explain that it's a bubble and that like you're gonna miss the boat, and it just seems like they're either not hearing it or there's some greed involved. But I would just say cut and run as fast as you can, and build somewhere else. And I'm not talking about you. I'm saying anybody. You know what I mean?
You
Because
might be, because I'm in one of these. I mean, this building that I live in is not that old, and yeah, I mean, it's in a location where it's expensive for the size that it is.
right,
And
right,
I don't
and I
have a
mean,
yard, so
well, that's what I'm saying. I
yeah,
grew up in the same way. I know exactly what it is. It's just the
yeah,
opportunity may not be there in the near future. And if you are actually thinking that what I'm saying is somewhat accurate about something happening in the near future, the last place you want to be is in a highly populated area, because
mhm.
that's not going to be good. There's no good that can come of that. If the lights go off in New York or in Boston, watch out, right? Like, I mean,
Oh
I'm just
yeah,
telling you. And I know there's a friend of mine. I'm actually trying to get him onto the show sometime in the early next year. He works for a water company for one of the cities. I'm trying to keep it vague because I don't want to say too much, but they're getting cyber attacked right now. Like they're trying to the FBI and Homeland Security came to their pump house because of the cyber attacks that are happening. This is just water distribution, right? Like that's not if you
yeah,
and I mean that's a big deal, but I'm just saying like if the water gets turned off, what happens next, right? So like these
oh,
things are happening. All the indicators are there that something could happen. And
yeah,
I'll preach it to the end of days. If you can get way more than you bought your house for and you're in a highly populated area, cut and run, and you can do extremely well outside of those cities. Just I mean, figure you get 10, 20 acres and you're still sitting on a $500,000, if you get a half a mil for your place, and like you
yeah,
could do whatever you wanted to do after that. To me, it's just like it's no what are you hanging on to in them cities? I mean, it's crazy
right,
to me. Um,
hmm,
but here's what I want to. I'm interested in the run for the presidency thing, but
okay, yeah,
I don't want to. I want you to go all in. So we're gonna stop on YouTube, and if anybody's on YouTube, there's a link for Rumble. Come on over there and continue watching because we've been trying to keep it a little PG. All right, you guys have a good night.